Okay, so yeah, we have had an extremely busy day. It seems like we're always busy, but during the summer it seems like we've been busier. Everybody wants to be in the video. We just got back from cheer camp. This is the last day of cheer camp, and anyway, the video I'm making today is how to make chicken broth. It has to be done. Here you go, baby girl. I have this chicken in the refrigerator. I need to get it in the crock pot and let it cook all night. So anyway, I will show you how it's done. Okay, so change of plans. I have a 12-quart pan here that I'm going to go ahead and do my chicken broth in. I was going to do it in the crock pot all night. But I changed my mind. This is the same concept, except for doing it this way is going to be a little bit quicker. Doing it in the crock pot, I would let it just cook all night long. But I'm going to do it in this pan today, okay? So I'm hoping that everybody does the same thing. I put all of my leftover veggies in a Ziploc bag and keep it in the freezer. I just keep this bag in the freezer, and you know, as I go along, I have some celery that was probably going to go bad, so I put it in the freezer. There's some onion in here, onion there. There's some carrots I see. You know, just put your leftovers in there because that's what you're going to use for your broth. I also have a leftover chicken that I had baked, so I'm going to put that in also. And we'll just let that all, put that all in. I'll bring it to a boil and let it simmer. So this pan, like I said, is a 12-quart pan, and I filled it up with water about 3/4 of the way full. I've already put the chicken in here, the chicken that I baked. Okay, I put the whole chicken in there, the leftover, the bones, the skin, the meat, anything that was left over from that chicken. Scraped the bottom of the pan out, the gel and everything I have thrown into this pot of water. Looks like I've got some chicken on my finger there. Anyway, I've got the chicken in there, and now I'm going to add the vegetables to it that I have in my Ziploc baggie. It's going to be the celery, the carrots, the peppers, the onions, you know, whatever I have in this bag, I'm going to put inside here with the chicken. See that? I'm just going to stick that whole thing in there. I've already put a couple pieces in there, but I'm just going to drop that whole thing in there. So I have it all in there. You know, you can put anything, the skins of your onion, garlic skins, anything, the peels, just put it all in there. Your carrots, your celery. I did skip my purple onion that I had in my bag because it does color your broth. But I'm going to turn this on high and bring it to a boil. And after it comes to a boil, I will turn it down to simmer and we'll let it cook. I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper into this mix. This is going to be such an excellent broth. I mean, it just will be. And I know people say, why in the world are you going to do that? You can just buy broth at the store. But you know what? You know why? Because I'm thrifty. I just can't help it. I'm not going to throw that chicken out when this will make soups, stews, you know, anything that you need chicken broth for, I'll have it. And sometimes I can it, and sometimes I freeze it, and probably today I'm going to freeze it. I've got company coming over tonight. I think I'll just probably put it in the freezer, and you know, that works just fine as well. And this will make quite a bit of broth. I mean, it will, you know, reduce down. It's going to boil off some of that water, but it'll make quite a bit of broth, and it will just be delicious. Okay, can you see how this is already turning like a golden color? It's already turned into broth. It hasn't even came to a boil yet. Okay, now I mean, and I have that whole carcass in there. Okay, it's not a huge one or anything. Oh, and yes, and by the way, on the holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and things, I always request the turkey carcass. They let me have it usually, but anyway, you ought to see how much broth you get from a turkey. You know, or the ham. The ham is delicious also. That makes delicious broth that you can cook with your beans, you know, for beans and cornbread. But anyway, I always get the turkey and the ham. One of my cousins just makes vegetable broth. She saves her vegetables throughout the year just like I do. Many do. And she makes vegetable broth out of hers. But anyway, I mean, you can see it's already turned into gold. And talk about delicious. It's just going to be so good. Okay, so it's coming to a boil. And I'm getting ready to put it on simmer. You notice I haven't put salt in here yet, and I'm not going to until it has cooked for a few hours at least. I'll taste it and see. I mean, seems to me that it will be salty enough. But, you know, you might taste it and add a little salt if you'd like it, you know, just to your taste. But anyway, so this is boiling. I'm going to go ahead and turn it down to simmer. I'm not going to set a timer or anything because this is going to cook. I'll just let it cook for, I don't know, a few hours, and we'll see how it tastes. You know, just stir it occasionally. And if you can't cook that chicken, you know, I had a chicken sitting in the fridge, and if I couldn't have got to it today, I would have just thrown it into the freezer, the whole carcass. You know, just throw them in the freezer, and I mean, you can just get a whole bunch of them or whatever, make a bigger pot if you want to later on. Just pull them out of the freezer and, you know, put them in your big pot and let them cook all day. Anyway, stay tuned. So my broth has been boiling for, about 3-4 hours. Not boiling, I'm sorry. It's been on simmer for about 3 or 4 hours. It's still a little warm. I turned it off. I took it off the heat so that it would cool down just a little bit. Right now I am scooping out the big stuff and going to put it in this container, okay? Like the big chunks of celery and chicken and things like that. I'm just dumping it in here. I'm going to do this first. And then I'm going to put it through a strainer. You see, I'm just pulling this junk out. And I'll give this to, I'll put it in the compost. My dog will probably get the most of it. Maybe a few kitty cats or something. And possums tonight. But anyway, it's going in my compost. I pretty much put everything in my compost pile. And this broth, you know, has no rhyme or reason. You can do whatever you want. There's no exact recipe for chicken broth. You can do it however you want to. You can, you know, to your taste, how you like it. Basically, you're boiling a carcass and putting some veggies in, some seasoning if you want. And that's it. You do it however you want to. But this is how I do it. I hope you're getting something out of it. Got the big chunks out and I have it sitting over here. I'm going to give that to the, well, to the compost. This over here is what I'm going to put my broth in, and this is just a strainer just to get the small particles out of it. I have used a regular strainer, but I have found that this screen type, and this is a tiny one, but anyway, that one seems to catch more stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. Okay, now I've got this big old pan here. Carefully. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to have another container, but it's okay. This one's going to be good for now. Looks like I got most of the stuff. This just makes me so happy. I've got so much liquid gold there. Got a smaller container here, and I'll fill this up. Okay, now that fit just perfect. Now what I'm going to do with those 2 containers of broth is I'm going to go put them in the refrigerator out in the shop. And then I'm going to let that cool down, and I'll pull all the fat off of the top, and I'll show you how to do that when it's time. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how much broth I got out of just that one small carcass. Well, I'd say it's, you know, about medium size. It just wasn't a huge chicken. So anyway, that's how much broth I'm going to get. I'll pull the fat off after I pull it out of the fridge. I've just pulled the chicken broth out of the refrigerator to pull the fat off, and I'm just really amazed that there's like not a whole lot of fat. Usually it seems like it is just a huge layer on the top. So anyway, I'm going to take this slotted spoon, and I am just going to kind of pull this fat out of here. Just set it over here on the plate, and I'm going to just pull this fat off. I've had this slotted spoon since I was like 15 years old. I moved out when I was 15, and I've had this spoon ever since. Can you believe that? Fun fact there for you. TMI probably. So I'm just going to keep digging. I'm going to get all this fat off of here, and then I'm going to get the fat off of this one too. Okay. So that's all the fat I got off the top. Can you believe that? And that yummy goodness is going to the kitty cats or the pup outside. Okay, I've pulled off enough enough fat off of this broth. Good enough for me. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just pour these into these containers. These are yogurt containers that I have already eaten, and I save them for this purpose. I'll fill these up and then label them chicken broth and put them in my freezer. And like I said, I can broth also, but I also freeze it. I'm not going to can it right now. I just don't have the time right now. So we're going to freeze this, and plus I have plenty canned. But whoops. 2, 4, I ended up with 6 of these containers, and they are 32 ounces. So there you go. That's what I got from just one small chicken. And this broth will just be perfect, you know, for soups or stews or whatever. Chicken and dumplings, you just, you know, throw it in your pan and let it melt, and then just make your dumplings and put those in. Either that, or you can, you know, buy store-bought biscuits if that's what you'd rather do, and just cut them up in 4s and toss them in the boiling water, and then they just fluff up into these beautiful, fluffy, you know, dumplings. So anyway, well, I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to us. And you can hit the bell for more notifications, and then you'll be the first to know when we upload another video. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.